Hi guys, welcome to my next video on functions. In this video, guys, I'm going to be covering some problems related to the theory we've been doing so far. This problem set is going to include recognizing functions and identifying functions as even and odd. Okay, so this is a problem set video, so I'm just going to focus on the questions and not go too much into the theory. Okay, so first question, f of x is equal to 7 minus 3x. What kind of function it is? This is a linear function, okay? Let me just write it down, linear function. Okay guys, so here we have g of x is equal to x to the root of 5. This can be written as x to the power of 1 over 5. And this can be written as this is a power function because it's x to the power of something. So here we have a polynomial and we have a polynomial at the bottom. So the division of a polynomial is just a rational function. Here we have 8 to the power of x. Whenever we have a constant to the power of x, this is an exponential function. Now here we have x to the power of 5 divided by 2 minus 2x plus 1. This actually is not a polynomial, guys, okay? It's not a polynomial because 5 over 2 is not an integer. In order for this to be a polynomial, 5 over 2 has to be an integer. This is actually a power function, x to the power of 5 over 2, minus the polynomial 2 to the x plus 1. So this is an algebraic function. Okay, and finally, we have sine of x plus pi over 2 divided by cosine of x times x plus 1. What kind of function is it? Would you believe me if I said it's a linear function? It is a linear function, okay? Because this sine over x plus pi over 2 is equal to cosine of x, okay? So this can be rewritten as cosine of x divided by cosine of x times x plus 1. This cancels and becomes 1. So it's 1 times x plus 1, which is a linear function. Okay guys, so that's my section on recognizing functions. Next, I'm going to move on to even and odd functions. Okay guys, so f of x is equal to 3. Is this an even function or an odd function? Well, there's an easy way to check. What's f of minus 1? 3. What's f of 1? 3. So f of minus 1 is equal to f of 1. So this is an even function. Now f of x is equal to x squared plus 1. We could do it the same way as we did the top, where we could plug in numbers, or we could see this is just the parabola x squared shifted up by 1 on the vertical axis. So since the parabola that we know is an even function, x squared plus 1, which is just a shift up on the vertical axis y, this is also going to be an even function. Okay, so we don't even need to do the comparison here. G of x is equal to root x times x. Is this an even function or an odd function? It's actually an odd function, okay? Why is it an odd function? Because if we plug in f of 1 here, okay, f of 1 is going to equal 1 times 1, which is going to be positive. Now let's put in f of minus 1. Minus 1, this is going to be positive, so it's going to turn it into 1, and times it by minus 1, it's going to be negative. So the relation f of x is equal to minus f of minus x holds, right? Because if I put f of 1, this is equal to minus f of minus 1. So this relation holds. We could also see this by graphing it. Okay? I'll do the last two and I'll graph this problem out. So we're going to look at 2t plus 1. What is 2t plus 1? Is it an even function or an odd function? Well, let's plug in a value and see what happens. So let's see what's f of 1. F of 1 is equal to 3. Let's plug in f of minus 1. F of minus 1 is equal to minus 1. So clearly f of 1 is not equal to minus f of minus 1. So it's not odd. And f of 1 is not equal to f of minus 1. So it's not even. So h of t is neither. Let's look at this. Same thing. Let's plug in 2 here. F of 2 is equal to 1. And f of minus 2 is equal to minus 1/3. So this function is also neither. It's neither odd or even. Okay? So let's look at the continuation of this problem. Okay, so if we're going to graph this, guys, let's start by graphing the absolute value, okay? So the absolute value I'm going to graph in red. The absolute value looks like something like this. Okay? It's two vertical lines that are equal for the negative and positive value, okay? And then the x, if I'm going to graph that, looks like this. Okay, well, it looks like this. So it on the first quadrant here, it's actually just going to be going over the same line as the red line, right? It's going to be going over the same line as the red line. And on the y quadrant, it's going to be going this way. Okay, so when you multiply x by the same number, you're going to be getting a parabola, right? When you multiply this red and blue line, when you multiply the same number, you're going to get a parabola in the right quadrant, okay? So you're going to get a parabola. Sorry, let me draw it a little neater. So you're going to get a parabola when it's between 1. If it's less than 1, it's going to be under this line. And then when it passes 1, it's just going to shoot up and increase faster, okay? And then on the negative side, you're going to have a positive number multiplied by the negative value of it. So this is exactly like minus x squared, right? Because it's x times x times x minus 1 because it's on the negative. So on the third quadrant, it's going to look like this. Okay, so as you can see, this graph, it's this part, the values here are just the negative of the values here. Okay, so for that reason, g of x is going to equal minus g of minus x, because minus x is going to be the negative of this, and if you times it by minus, it's going to become positive. So g of x is going to equal minus g of x, so this makes it an odd function. So you could see it from the graph. You could plug in points like I did above, or you could also see it from the graph that it's an odd function. So when functions are odd, guys, it makes odd or even. It makes some calculations easier when we start studying calculus. Okay, that's it. That's it for my video, guys. Thank you for listening. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to put them down in the comment section below. Thank you.